everybody, and happy Saturday to you. I hope everybody's having a great day. It's another beautiful weekend. And I know you get tired of me probably always talking about how gorgeous it is outside, but I can't help it. Because this is a day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. I'm so thankful to see another weekend, another Saturday, another day, another minute, another hour. So, I just can't let an opportunity go past without mentioning something about God's wondrous creation. And that is today and tomorrow that sometimes we don't get the opportunity to see. So, we have to live every day like it's our last. But anyway, I'm glad if you're tuning in to the show live today to listen to it. If not, then you can hear it again. As soon as the broadcast is over with, it is uploaded to all the social media sites so you don't miss 1 minute of information. And that is my goal. But anyway, just like we always do every Saturday, I want to give out these URLs. So if you will, just grab a piece of paper and a pen so you can jot down this information. And I'm going to add another one to it today so that way you'll have it as well. But the first one, of course, is to Spreaker, and that is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. And if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, you can reach me at https://www.facebook.com/Vivian E. Moore. And if you want to check out my Pinterest page, I really suggest that you do. It is https://www.pinterest.com Vivian Moore 48. And you can also reach out to me on Twitter, and my Twitter handle is God's Property 46. If you want to also touch bases with me on Instagram, that is https://Instagram.com/God's Property 51. And I would love for you to check out my lovely website, which is at https://VivianMoore.wixsite, that's WIXSITE.com/author Vivian Moore. And you can also read the blogs. If you don't listen to them live on the show, you can read the script that I write every Saturday, and I upload it to my blog site, which is vivianemore.blogsite.com. And the newest one that I promised you last week that I would have for you today is to the iTunes store. And it's a long one, so you may want to listen up so you don't miss any of the information. It is https://iTunes.apple.com/podcast/author_Vivian_E_Moore/ID 1239-048-0032 MT=2. All right, I know that was a mouthful, and it probably was a lot to try and jot down too in one setting, but that's it, folks. As far as all of the web addresses, the URLs that I just given out to you. So now, without further delay, we're going to go right into today's show. The title of the show is Destination Exploration, and the topic is, how do you research for a project? Well, I don't know about you, but I research in stages. And what I mean by this is that I don't know what I need until I start writing the story. I don't do storyboards like most. I tend to let my creative juices flow naturally. And, just to see where my imagination takes me. Flowcharts are useful in most cases, but just isn't my style of creation. Okay, I guess some writers like to lay out their plot lines because it helps them to develop a better storyline. And I'm just the opposite. I love to wonder about what comes next. The level of excitement of the unknown, it's thrilling to me. Now, I'm not saying that notes aren't required, because they are. I keep them myself. I have a multitude of notes everywhere. I have this pretty little purple wastebasket. It's a miniature one on my desk, and it's stuffed full of notes. And that's just only a few of them. I have them everywhere. But anyway, I've often had visions of scenes that take place further in the book. So that's one of the reasons why I try to jot these things down. It's not the same as doing a flow chart or creating a storyboard. To me, it's just taking notes. Pretty much is all it is. So that way, when I get to that point of the book where I want to put this particular scene, then I don't have to try to remember what it was that I wanted there, because I've written it down on a piece of paper, and all I have to do basically is find that piece of paper. And I usually keep those on my desk, especially the current ones. The ones that I've already used, then those go inside of this little miniature wastebasket that I have, not to throw away, but to keep. And that's why it's on my desk. So if I need to refer back to it, it's there for me to use at my disposal. But it's always good to take notes. And even if you don't do storyboards, or if you do storyboards, at some point in time you still have to take notes. Or if you have an image, or like me, most of my stories come about through dreams. So I always keep a pen and paper on my bed for just such an occasion. But anyway, I work things out as I write the story. And, in my opinion, using excessive flowcharts is time consuming, for one thing, and it takes away from the story. Just like most readers, I like discovery. I don't need every detail up front. I'd rather the plot unfold as I move through the story. What is the fun in reading a book if you already know how it's going to end? Usually I do have a general idea of my characters, the setting and the plot, so I know that I will have to research facts such as cities, landmarks, people, places, and things, especially if they are unfamiliar to me. And for me, it's just good to do that. I love this part most. Learning about interesting backgrounds and cultures, specific details that add to the overall feel of the story. The more detail you give and factual information makes the story believable, and a relationship of trust develops between the writer and the reader. Sometimes I like to research origin of names and their meanings, but I can't do this until I decide on a particular one. It amazes me that after I've researched the information, how it fits perfectly with the storyline. And I don't even know how this happens. I don't even know how I managed to do this, but it just does. And I just want to use a character from my latest book, If Tomorrow Comes, Requiem. Now, Joshua is one of the main characters in the story. He's the male lead in the story. And the Bible tells us that Joshua was a warrior, and he is a very interesting character study as well. But before I did my own research on the name, I'd already had a clear idea of the part that he played in my story. And Joshua is a leader. He is a defender of truth because he's a lawyer. He is a man of justice, again, because he's a lawyer, but also it has a lot to do with his character and his upbringing. Joshua is a protector, and he is most definitely a fierce warrior. And and that's one of the things I love about his character, and I had already decided that that's who he was going to be before I did a full study, a character study on the name Joshua. And that's why I said it just tied right in with my plot for the story. And I've done this on many different books that I've written. I'll select the characters' names, and then I'll go and look them up afterwards, just to see what they mean. But it's like that definition of what those names mean is how I've already conducted this story, how I've already written this story around that particular character. So it all just falls into place. And this is how research works for me. Now, understand it is very necessary. It is a very necessary element, and it is a useful tool for all writers. You can't tell a story without it. And what I hate most is a book that is full of errors and misinformation because someone did not research well enough or not at all. In most cases, that's probably how that came about. But anyway, it kills a story, and it proves that the author is not a wise writer. And I understand we are masters of embellishment and fabrication. We apply our creative rights as artists to weave tales based on ideas and dreams. But the defining substance that binds the story together must consist of concrete origins or concrete evidence. You know, we all have been students at one point in our lives. Therefore, we're issued assignments, usually by the teacher, based on a particular subject. And we'll just use history, for instance, because, of course, it's one of my favorite subjects. But anyway, you were instructed to choose a figure, a place, a happening during a certain period, and write it out in your own words, but with factual information. And based on how well you researched and were able to recreate the story through your own vision, you probably received an A, and that's good. However, if you took shortcuts, and I know a lot of people that did that, or fudged a few instances, then you underachieved and you probably got a D. And I know that really sucks, and I'm sorry for you. But anyway, that will teach you in the future not to scrimp on the details. All right, so research is critical to every project, and it is such an integral part of every story. I mean, you cannot tell a story successfully without details and fact checking. That is essential. And trust me, most readers are very shrewd, and they expect a level of honesty from the author, even in fictional tales. As writers, we owe it to them to be truthful as possible with the information dispersed throughout the story. Every fairy tale, even fairy tales, obtain some level of research. They are usually based on another well-read fable, so consistency is important. There is a multitude of how to do this, or the other, when it comes to research. And I read an interesting article from Writer's Digest while I was preparing for writing this blog, and also what it was about was it was writing a book in a month and researching information. It was giving you I think it was like 5 points on how to do this, and I didn't jot those things down because I'm not saying that it is impossible to write a book in 30 days. And it's probably a very short story, so you can do it. I've never done it before, but it is possible. So, I'm not a naysayer when it comes to things like that because, different strokes for different folks. Some people are just real savvy when it comes to things like that. However, I'm not, because it has taken me a year or maybe even longer to write a book. And I think that's a good thing because it's not rushed. And for some authors, it takes years to write a book. And most of them, especially if it's something historical, they have to do all of this research, especially if they're talking about a specific time or a specific place. And especially if it's something that actually did occur in history, then they have to do their research on it, and they have to do it in detail. They have to use, and I'm just going to say, use a fine tooth comb to make sure that they don't miss anything, because you have readers who they depend on their favorite authors to come through for them whenever they're telling a story. And they want the facts. They want the details, but they also want the facts. And so if you leave anything off, or if you don't research it well enough, or you get something wrong, trust and believe they will point it out to you. So I mean, how well you research and write a story, it can only help you in the end, as far as book sales, and as far as people leaving messages about your book, posting reviews about your book. Those things are important, because I've read some reviews where the readers were not satisfied because they felt like they were shortchanged, because the book wasn't well written, it wasn't well researched, and so they will blow you out of the water. Because they will fact check you. They will do it in a heartbeat. So just beware. But anyway, no matter where your destination or exploration leads you, or how you choose to plan for your next book, research is important. It is instructional as well, crucial, before you begin any project. And so, folks, that's it. That's all I have. I tried again today, because I know last Saturday I went way over the 15 or less mark. But I was just so excited to be back doing the show. And maybe I should have made the show a little bit longer today, because I mentioned this last week, but next Saturday I won't be able to do the show because of the trip that I planned with my sisters. To take a train ride. That is pretty much going to take all day, so that wouldn't leave me enough time to do the show. And whenever I'm not able to do it, I truly miss it. I think about it, and that's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. And hopefully there won't be too many Saturdays that I won't be able to do the show. And I always try to make up for it in some capacity if I can. But, some things are out of my power. But, I also have a life outside of doing this show. And, and then there's plenty other shows that you can go and check out and listen to while you're waiting for the next show to air. But I think this may be number 40, so you have 39 other ones that you can actually listen to keep you occupied until I can get back the next Saturday and do the show. And also next Sunday is Father's Day, so I hope everybody's getting prepared for that. I always say we couldn't be mothers without fathers, because they play their part. They're very important. They're very instrumental in making us who we are as mothers, as women. So we just want to make sure that we honor them in the best way possible. And I know that I wouldn't be able to say this to you next Saturday because I won't be on the air. So it's why I'm saying it today. To any fathers that are out there listening, happy Father's Day. I know I am a week early, but I just wanted to be able to tell you that on air, so you know that I'm thinking about all the dads out there. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I may need to mention before I get ready to log off here. But I just want to say that I am coming up on the show's anniversary next month. And I mean, this is a milestone for me. It is hard for me to believe that I've been doing this show for almost a whole year. And I am well past, I think 650 listens. So to me, that is so awesome to know that you guys have been listening to the show. whether you're listening to it live, but you are listening to the show, you're pulling it up on the various modes of social media and listening to it, and I so appreciate it. But tomorrow is worship day. Take a loved one to church, take a friend to church with you, and tell somebody that you love them, because you may not get the chance to say it again, because tomorrow is not promised. I love you. I hope you love me back. God bless you. Until the next time I see you again, goodbye.